What if I told you that a powerful army with elephants was defeated by a flock of birds? Sounds unbelievable, right? But that's exactly what happened in one of the most epic tales from Islamic history. Welcome to Epic Ummah, where we bring you inspiring stories from the past. Today, we're diving into the story of Abrahah's failed attempt to destroy the Kaaba, as told in Surah Al-Fil. This is a tale of power, envy, and divine intervention that has captivated believers for centuries. So, sit back and get ready to explore this incredible event that changed history forever. First, let's answer the question, who was Abrahah, and why did he want to destroy the Kaaba? Abraha was a Christian ruler who governed Yemen in the 6th century. Originally from Abyssinia, modern-day Ethiopia, he arrived in Yemen as part of an Abyssinian military campaign to subdue the region. After overthrowing the previous ruler in a swift and calculated coup, Abraha established himself as governor. He was a skilled military leader and a shrewd politician who recognized religion's power to unify and control populations. His ambition was boundless. He sought to elevate Yemen above all other regions in Arabia, particularly Mecca, in both trade and worship. To achieve this, Abraha constructed a magnificent church in Thana called Al-Fil. This wasn't just a building, it was a bold statement of his vision. The church boasted towering walls of polished stone, adorned with intricate carvings and shimmering precious metals. Inside, golden altars gleamed, mosaics dazzled the eye, and the ceilings soared as if reaching for the divine. Abraha intended Al-Fil to rival the Kaaba, drawing pilgrims and their wealth to Yemen instead of Mecca. Yet, despite its grandeur, the church failed to sway the masses. The Kaaba's pull remained unshaken, rooted in centuries of tradition. Frustrated and envious, Abraha's anger peaked when Meccan Arabs defiled his church, an insult he couldn't ignore. Driven by pride and vengeance, he resolved to march on Mecca and demolish the Kaaba, erasing its influence forever. The lesson here is clear. Envy can lead to destructive actions. Instead of focusing on his own achievements, Abraha let jealousy consume him, leading to his downfall. This reminds us to be careful of envy in our own lives. It can blind us and push us toward harmful choices. With this background on Abraha and his ambitions, let's move on to the next part of the story. What was so special about Abraha's army? Well, it was one of the most powerful armies of its time, complete with elephants, which were the tanks of the ancient world. Abraha's army was a colossal force, unmatched in its era. Thousands of soldiers filled its ranks, infantry wielding sharp spears and swords, cavalry astride swift, muscular horses, and archers trained to strike with deadly accuracy from afar. These warriors were seasoned, having crushed opponents in Yemen and beyond under Abraha's iron command. Yet the army's true terror lay in its war elephants, beasts unlike anything Arabia had seen. These elephants were massive, their hulking frames towering over the troops with thick, leathery skin and curved tusks that glinted menacingly in the sun. Their small, piercing eyes betrayed a quiet intelligence, and their sheer power could shatter fortifications or trample entire lines of men. Armored for battle, their trunks swung chains or blades, amplifying their destructive might. As they marched toward Mecca, the earth trembled beneath their weight, their trumpeting roars splitting the air. A choking haze of dust rose from the desert, stirred by thousands of boots and hooves, signaling doom to all in their path. The Meccans, lacking a formidable army or city walls, watched in dread, certain that nothing could halt this juggernaut. But as we'll see, even the mightiest armies are no match for divine will. This part of the story reminds us that true power doesn't come from weapons or numbers, but from faith and Law's support. No matter how strong we think we are always under Law's control. Now that we've seen the might of Abraha's army, let's continue to the climax of the story. How did a flock of birds defeat an entire army? This is where the story becomes truly epic. As Abraha's army neared Mecca, brimming with confidence, a miraculous shift occurred. The bright sky darkened abruptly, as though night had descended unbidden. Countless birds swarmed overhead, their numbers so vast they eclipsed the sun. These were no ordinary creatures, divinely sent. Some accounts depict them with striking features, like multiple heads or expansive wings. Each bird bore small stones of baked clay or brimstone in its beak and claws, poised for judgment. In a breathtaking assault, the birds dove with uncanny precision, unleashing a torrent of stones like fiery hail. These tiny projectiles tore through armor, flesh, and bone, leaving searing wounds that festered instantly. The elephants, invincible moments before, reared in agony as stones struck their eyes and joints, driving them into a frenzied stampede that crushed their own ranks. Chaos reigned. Soldiers fled in vain, their screams drowned by the birds' relentless attack. Abraha, too, fell victim, a stone piercing him, his body later succumbing to infection. The Quran captures this in Surah Al-Fil. Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the owners of the elephant? Did he not bring their plan to naught, sending against them swarms of birds, who pelted them with stones of baked clay, making them like chewed-up straw? Chapter 105, verses 1-5. This event shows us the power of faith and how Allah protects His sacred places. It's a reminder that no matter how powerful our enemies may seem, Allah is always in control. The Quran's vivid description underscores the futility of opposing divine will. With the divine intervention complete, let's explore how the people of Mecca reacted to this incredible event. The Meccans were in awe of what they had witnessed. But what did this event mean to them? When the onslaught ended, the Meccans crept from their shelters, eyes wide with disbelief. The invincible army lay vanquished, corpses strewn across the sand, elephants sprawled lifeless, vultures already circling above. What they'd feared as their city's end had become a divine triumph. Gathering at the Kaaba, they touched its ancient walls and kissed the black stone, tears of gratitude streaming down their faces as they praised Allah's mercy. This miracle unified the tribes, bridging old rivalries with a shared reverence for the Kaaba's sanctity. The event rippled beyond Mecca, weakening Yemen's grip on regional power and cementing Mecca's status as Arabia's spiritual and economic heart. Dubbed the Year of the Elephant, it became a historical milestone, notably marking the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Meccans saw it as undeniable proof of Allah's favor, a story they'd recount for generations as a beacon of hope and resilience. The story teaches us that Allah can use the most unexpected ways to achieve His purposes. Who would have thought that birds could defeat an army? Yet with Allah, all things are possible. This encourages us to trust in Allah's wisdom, even when we don't understand His plans. Before we wrap up, let's take a moment to understand why the Kaaba was so important. Why was the Kaaba worth protecting? What made it so special? The Kaaba, revered as the house of God, holds unparalleled sanctity in Islam. Tradition holds that the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam and his son Ismail alayhi salam built it under divine command using rugged stones from Mecca's surrounding hills. It began as a humble cube, symbolizing monotheism's unity, after Allah tasked Ibrahim alayhi salam with settling Hajra and Ismail in the desolate valley, promising their lineage greatness. Over centuries, it drew pilgrims, descendants of Ismail and diverse Arab tribes alike. Yet by Abraha's time, idolatry had tainted its purpose, with hundreds of idols crowding its sacred precincts. Still, its legacy endured through trials like floods and tribal strife, each survival reinforcing its divine favor. Abraha's assault aimed to shatter this spiritual anchor, but its miraculous preservation affirmed its role as Arabia's beating heart. This event paved the way for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to later purify it, restoring its original mission as a sanctuary for the one true God. Watch the video on I button to know more about Kaaba. The Kaaba's protection reminds us of the importance of preserving sacred spaces and respecting the beliefs of others. It's a lesson in tolerance and understanding, values that are just as important today as they were back then. Now let's consider the bigger lessons we can learn from this story. The story of Abraha isn't just a tale from the past. It carries powerful lessons for us today. One key lesson is respecting others' beliefs. Abraha's envy and compulsion to impose his faith fueled his doomed campaign. Today we see echoes of this when sacred sites are desecrated, like attacks on mosques, churches, or temples, sparking strife and division. Such acts, this story teaches, are both wrong and ultimately fruitless against divine will. Respecting others' sacred spaces fosters peace, even amid disagreement. Another lesson is faith's strength. The Meccans, defenseless against elephants, were saved by trust in Allah. Similarly, we face modern challenges, personal or global, where faith can guide us through. Finally, it's about humility. Abraha's pride crumbled before Allah's might, reminding us to check our own egos and recognize our limits. As we think about these lessons, let's ask ourselves, how can we live with more respect, faith, and humility? This story inspires us to be better in our everyday lives. Let's wrap up with a look at the lasting legacy of this event. The story of Abrahah and the elephants has left a lasting legacy. But what does it mean for us today? This event stands as a testament to Allah's protection in Islamic tradition, showing that even the grandest human plans bow to divine will. It's tied to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's birth in the year of the elephant, foreshadowing his mission to renew the Kaaba's monotheistic purpose. Over centuries, the tale has woven into Islamic culture, recited in poetry, depicted in art, and studied in texts, celebrating Allah's power through humble birds. Its enduring resonance lies in its universal truths: humility over arrogance, faith over force. It challenges us to trust in Allah's plan even when odds seem stacked against us, and to honor what's sacred to others. The legacy of Abrahah's defeat teaches us to trust in Allah's bigger plan, even when we don't see it clearly. It encourages us to live with humility and faith, knowing that true power belongs to Allah alone. In conclusion, the story of Abrahah's failed attempt to destroy the Kaaba is a powerful testament to the power of faith, the importance of respect, and the triumph of divine justice. It's a story that has inspired believers for centuries and still speaks to us today. If this story inspired you, please hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Epic Ummah for more incredible tales from Islamic history. Let's spread these powerful lessons together. Your like fuels our mission, your share spreads prophetic wisdom, and your subscribe builds a fortress for Islamic truth. Help us rebuild what the world tries to erase. Thanks for watching, and keep exploring. Until next time, Salamu Alaikum.